With all the new knife brands and knives that are constantly dropping, it is definitely difficult to keep up with everything. And today we're going to look at a brand that's absolutely new to me, and that's Drachenader Messers, or Drachenader Knives. We've got three to take a look at real quick, and we're going to ask the question, are they worth it? Stick around. What's up, Cripple Crew? EDC with DBD, disabled but deadly. And that's right, we're looking at a new brand called Drachenader today. And since we got three knives to cover, we're just gonna get right into it, so stab that like button. This is the Drachenader Y-Wolf. And I can't pull up the actual page on this because they're sold out and all the Amazon listings are pull up a no longer existing page. But the Drachenader Y-Wolf is just under 8 inches long with just over 3.5 inch blade. The Y-Wolf is the least expensive of the three knives that I'm going to show you. Coming in, it looked like the listing was $28.99. And Drachenader has quite a few knives in the under $30, especially their fixed blades. They got a lot of D2 fixed blades, some neck knives that actually look pretty decent. And this one seems to come in under that $30 mark. We're looking at a liner lock. Let's see, we are centered. We've got a good detent on this. That's one thing that I can say is it seems the detents are pretty dialed in. Well, the other two aren't true detents, you'll see. We also, for our opening methods on this one, we have a fuller that works really well for the reverse flick or the thumb flick. And then we have a flipper tab. Out of the three, this one, well, I guess I should say this is D2 steel, as you can see. So under $30, this is probably the steel that's going to get you the best edge retention. It does have a pretty even grind all the way back with this kind of recurve big belly buoy. And this one with this little finger choil that they've got gives us a little bit of sharpening life. Plunge grind starts there, ends there. You've got a couple sharpenings on that blade before you hit the plunge or need to cut your own sharpening choil in. These have been through a couple reviewers already before me. And it seems like decently sharp from the factory. That's got a very bulky tip. This is definitely a, kind of a tactical forward EDC knife. It's going to provide you, a decent use for EDC with the way that belly is so low. You can actually use that almost like a secondary tip for opening packages and such. Any type of scrape cuts are going to work very well. If you are slicing, it's going to trap material in before it hits that belly. And then for any piercing, that tip is going to go right in and open up. We have G10 handles over non-skeletonized steel liners with a steel backspacer and an inset completely not deep carry and not reversible pocket clip, leaving quite a bit to grab on the way out. Now this one does have contoured G10 scales, and this is definitely wider than most of our EDC knives nowadays. This is almost like a fixed blade handle. It's so wide, but it makes it very comfortable. This has got to be at least 6500s, but it feels so comfortable like that. I don't have a scale available, but this one seems to be a little over 5 ounces, I would guess. All Drachenaders come with a nylon sheath that has a little snap on it, but it's too small for my belt. Now you can run it through horizontally or vertically. You could strap this on a plate carrier or a backpack, anything with molly. That would work. But as a pocket or as a belt loop, it's too small for my belts. If you have a standard 1 1/4 or 1.5 inch belt, you shouldn't have an issue. So the Y-Wolf from Drachenader. I'm going to save my verdict on all three of these till the end. Next up, we're looking at the IE-BR. And this comes in a Tanto or a drop point. As you can see, this is the Tanto version. And this one's upgraded on the steel. We're looking at 14C28N. Considered one of the top budget steels because of its corrosion resistance, its toughness, and it has decent edge retention. Not quite as good as D2. However, it takes a very, very, very sharp edge, and you can strop it back to life really well in between sharpenings. This 14C Tanto, it's rocking a dual flat grind, and this is even slicier than the Y-Wolf. Once again, we've got G10, but this time we have skeletonized handles, putting us more in that like 4.5 ounce range. It actually feels pretty good. Maybe just under 4. We have a flipper tab, thumb studs that do work for the thumb or the reverse flick. And then we have, whoop, my finger got stuck, a fuller as well that you can reach to flick out. And for the reverse flick, the fuller is actually a little better because these are pretty tight to the scale, and it makes it a little harder to get to with the reverse flick, but not impossible, obviously. This is rocking a plunge style button lock. Our lockup, I've got the slightest bit of side to side slide, 0 up and down. I might even be able to tighten that out. This is definitely centered. We have a non-captive pivot. Let's check our hardware on this. I'm going to guess we're T8 pivot and T6 for everything else. Yes, we are T8 pivot, T6 for everything else. We have a non-reversible semi-deep carry fold over pocket clip that is pretty dang tight, and it has mushroom screws. So there is not a lot of room for this one to go in and out of the pocket. And with this texture, it's definitely a tight fit going in and out. You're not going to lose it, that's for sure, but it's not the easiest to get in and out of your pocket. Our handle on this one, not quite as wide as the Y-Wolf, but as you can see, with my extra large glove, I've still got a full-size grip on it. Our overall length on this one is just over 7 3/4 with a 3-inch blade and a 4 1/4-inch handle. We do have some button stick, as you can hear. But that it is kind of a, that does look like the button needs some cleaning, or the plunge needs some cleaning. It was very oiled, I'm guessing, from the factory, and it's got some smudge in there. So that might help, but the button stick might work its way out. It's not horrible. It's very easy to work the button. And as you can see, it goes right back into the handle every time. And that little bit of button stick actually, oftentimes I don't mind because it lets me know that it is locked up pretty solid. So the IE-BR Tanto rendition. Oh, G10 backspacer, and we do have a lanyard spot. Pretty good ergos on this. Our sharpening choil and plunge grind. Our plunge grind starts and it does end right away. Right away. That's a pretty good job on that plunge. You do have a sharpening or two on there. And then because the stop tab is behind the flipper tab, if you wanted to cut your own sharpening choil in, you could. Very easily. The IE-BR comes in just under 40 bucks at $39.99. Next and last is the Drachenader B-Feng, F-E-N-G, B-Feng. And this one, it's probably my favorite of the three. Okay, not probably. This one is my favorite of the three. We are looking at a 3.42 inch D2 blade. So once again, we've got very good edge retention. Not quite corrosion resistant, but does have 12% chromium, so it's partially corrosion resistant, and if you keep it oiled, you shouldn't have any issues. Our total length is 8.22 inches, so another full-size knife like the Y-Wolf. And these aluminum scales on this, solid aluminum, this is just over 4 ounces. There is no skeletonizing in this aluminum. However, it is balanced very well. The ergos on this are pretty dang good. We've got a nice swell back here, and with my extra large size hands, I've got plenty of room back here on this flat area for my pinky. Because of this clamshell two-piece construction, it comes together here in the middle like a backspacer, making it very comfortable in hand. This jimping is very usable. Really locks me into this grip. I feel like I could do some pretty serious thrusting without any worries of slipping. You can rock a trigger pull choke up on this. There's no sharpening or choil or finger choil, but the flipper tab angle does allow you to use it as like a trigger pull, and with your thumb up you can get some nice control into cuts. This clip point blade brings the tip down near the center line of the pivot, so it's not difficult to get down, and we can use that belly on a flat surface. We could use the whole belly if the flipper tab wasn't in the way. And if you wanted to, you could delete the flipper, because that blade cutout works very well, especially for the reverse flick. It thwacks. We've got minor button stick on this one, quite a bit less than the IE-BR. Just the barest amount. Again, lets me feel like I'm locked up a little more solid. I am solid left to right and up and down. We have, just like the IE-BR, a semi-deep carry, non-reversible fold-over pocket clip with mushroom screws. However, as you can see, this pocket clip is designed better. Let me just compare them real quick. Look at how tight the one on the IE-BR is versus the design of the one on the B-Feng. This one actually goes in and out of pocket very easily. I've carried this one for a few days. We don't have any sharpening choil here, but our plunge grind is still done pretty well, and it does end right away. So this is kind of a tactical forward knife. No choil means it's not going to catch and hang up in any clothing, but you could put your own in very easily if you wanted to, because the stop pin is again behind the flipper tab. So that's a good job. The D2 on this is very, very sharp and slicey. This one comes down to the thinnest edge of all three. Well, yes, it is thinner behind the edge than the first knife, and is definitely the sliciest of the bunch. I like this clip point design. I love the blade cutout, and the shape of the handle is very conducive for all types of EDC tasks. You can turn it around and cut straps. You know, I don't recommend a plunge lock as your beef jerky defense knife. However, you use what you have on you. And in an Avenger grip, this is so comfortable. The way this is angled, I am capped off perfectly. And with this flipper tab, I have zero worries about sliding on any beef jerky juice, even on aluminum scales. In a beef jerky defender grip, I'm still locked off, and now I've got that pocket clip in my hand. Once again, I have a lot of confidence that I'm not going to slide. The dual stonewash and satin finish actually looks really good on this one. And the B Fang is coming in at only $26.99 right now on Amazon. So I can't find a website for these guys. However, they are sold on Amazon and AliExpress. I'm going to guess that the company is based out of Germany because of the name Drachenader Messers, meaning Drachenader Knives. I know that the name is supposed to evoke like medieval dragons as well as tactical. And of the three, this knife is actually pretty recommendable. For less than $30 for aluminum and D2, done this well, that's this comfortable, I could recommend the Drachenader B-Feng. The IE-BR, not a bad knife, but at the $40 price point of this IE-BR, there is a lot of competition, and there is actually knives that I would recommend ahead of this one. Now, this one is currently seems to be sold out for less than 30 bucks. If you like the design, it's a really cool looking knife that is very comfortable in hand. Very comfortable in hand. And that blade is useful for a lot of different tasks. So, for less than $30, if you really like the design, I don't see a reason to steer you away from it. It's not a bad knife. Once again, the T6 hardware, I'm not a fan of. I wish the liners were skeletonized. I'd rather that be G10, and the pocket clip sucks. But I don't know if I would rank it ahead of the IE-BR, but personally, my favorite is the B-Feng. For less than $27, D2 and aluminum for a full-size over 8-inch knife, that's a decent buy right there. I want to know what you guys think about these Drachenader knives. Have you heard of them before? Also, obviously, I can't stand the billboarding. The name, it's with the logo. Like, just give me the logo and put it somewhere up here, back here, back here. Just give me the logo. At least they don't have it on the pocket clips, but still. So, what do you guys think about the Drachenaders? Are you going to be picking up any of these? They will be Amazon affiliate links below. Those obviously help the channel. Completely up to you if you use those. Look forward to seeing everybody TNT Thursday Knife Talks with War Room and DBD. Until then, stay safe, stay frosty, but most importantly, stay deadly.